All right, hi there, Wade Sellers here, and in this video we're going to quickly talk about data types. There's 5 of them we'll go over, and then I'm also going to talk about type inferencing, so let's get right into it. I have the Playground book open that I actually created when I was doing the constants and variables video, and you can see that code up here. I want to leave it up here just for context because it connects to data types. Now, what are data types? Data types are, I'm going to use the same words again, but they are different types of data that you can store in your constants and variables, okay? So you have numbers, you have strings, you have booleans, and there's 5 different types. We're going to go over them quickly right here, and I have some examples that you can already see in the Playground book. So we have integers, floats, doubles, strings, and booleans. We already talked about integers. Integers are your whole numbers, right? That can also be negative numbers as well. So these are your integers. I have a couple examples. Variable created with the title coldest temperature recorded equals negative 129. And a constant, let number of faces on a dodecahedron, which I believe is a dice, in Dungeons and Dragons, we have it set with the type integer and we have it equal to 12, okay? So those are integers, whole numbers, no decimals. Now, what if you need a decimal number? How would you like to store that? Those are floats or doubles. And I'll be honest with you, we primarily use doubles. Floats is kind of the older way that we used to use these, and they still work. But these days, if you are going to create a decimal number, even Xcode and Playgrounds, they default to the double data type, all right? So double data types can be huge. I think it's like 300 decimal digits big. Like they can be absolutely enormous. But the way that you would do them, here's some examples. Variable, the price of gas equals, 305. Could be like $3.05. Now you wouldn't put the dollar sign there. That would mess things up. But for now, don't worry about that. Let number for pi. We use a constant for that because pi doesn't change, and we have it set as a double data type, and it's set to 3.14159. These are examples of doubles or decimal numbers. All right, the next data type is a string. So a string is any collection, any set of text, numbers, symbols, spaces, and they're all collected inside of quotation marks. That's how Xcode and Playground know that it's a string. And you'll see 2 examples here. I have var, which is a variable, address, 123 Fake Street. It has to be inside quotes. If you take the quotes away, you're just going to get an error. Okay, so just these are how you know it's a string. Strings are in quotes. Again, variable, my favorite city. I have it set to a string, and it's equal to Chicago, Illinois. And notice, I can put a comma. I've got spaces in these. This one has numbers and letters and spaces, right? You can add more symbols. You can add all sorts of stuff, just as long as it all stays inside of the quotes. Okay. The last data type I want to talk about is a Boolean. Booleans are true or false, right? And we denote them, the shorthand is a bool, okay? In coding, we call them bools, but they're Booleans. True or false, right? We use these all the time. Oftentimes, if something in your code is true, like if this data equals 5 and is true, right? Do this code. If it's false, do this code, right? That's kind of like how we use it. A true or false is kind of like a light switch or a fork in the road in your code. They're super handy. You're going to use them all the time, so just get them in your brain. Booleans, true or false. Okay, so something I want to show you here now that we've talked about the 5 data types is something called type inferencing. I alluded to it in the last video, but let's just go over it a little bit more. Type inferencing is something that's like a little magic tool inside of Xcode and Playgrounds. Basically, when you go and set the value for a constant or a variable at the same time that you declare it, you can set it up to say, and I only want an integer in there. Or you can just set an integer in it. And Xcode and Playgrounds are smart enough to know that's an integer. The data type for this constant or variable is an integer, right? And that's exactly what's going on here. So like variable, the coldest temperature recorded equals negative 129. Now, I didn't have to say that it's an integer, like I did in this line right here. I just set negative 129, and it automatically knows negative 129 is an integer. That is the data type for this. And we'll prove it real quick because I'll show you an error. If I go to try to change this variable, because I can, variables can be changed, and I set it to, let's say I just set it to ABC. Actually, let's do a string, ABC. You're going to see an error, and it's going to say, cannot assign value of type string to type int. what's that saying? It's saying you're trying to put a string in a variable that is only for integers, right? So it's not going to let you do it. What if we do like a decimal number? What if we do negative 129.7, right? It's pretty close. Nope, we get another error. Cannot assign value of type double to an integer, right? So once you set the value inside there, you can't change the data type, and that is just a good rule to follow, and you will always get an error, but it's good to see those errors because now you know what they mean when you do it, because mistakes happen. It's part of it. So this is data types and a little bit of type inferencing. Play around in your playground book and, set up some different data types and some variables here and some constants and just play around, see what you have. Try to get some of these errors, try to understand the errors you see. They're very valuable to know. And with that, I'll see you in the next videos. Bye.